This clip got tons of millions of views last week.
Is there
What's
not
going
some
on?
way of telling whether you're real or not? Can you hold up 3 fingers in front of your face or anything?
Oh, come on, that's too much.
No, I don't think it is. If I'm making sure you're not AI, I think that's a reasonable thing to ask. Can you hold up 3 fingers in front of your face?
Well, is that enough?
No, it's not in front of your face. He's really doing his
Well,
best here.
that's too much, don't you think?
Yes, it is, because, if you were real, you would put up 3 fingers in front of your face, yes. And of course, he then exited the Zoom call.
There is something satisfying about watching a scammer getting caught, and something even better about thinking that you have learned a new trick. So something about this is not right, because the people who lost the most of money weren't the ones who don't know how these scams really work. In fact, many of them knew every single one. An 82-year-old retired broker with 45 years of market experience lost $300,000. I stopped asking how you can spot a scam, and instead, I started asking something even harder. Why are the people best spotting these scams are the ones that are losing the most money? In 2024, roughly $12.5 billion was lost to fraud in US alone. And the victims? Well, they were the higher income bracket people with higher education and high cognitive scores. They were more likely to be the ones that would not get scammed. But then I found a study that do smarter people have smaller blind spot for their own biases. Thousands of people were tested on IQ, cognitive ability, rational thinking. And do you know what the result was? The result was quite opposite. The smarter you are, the bigger the blind spot for you to spot these scams. And that really got me thinking, what if the smarter you are, the easier it is for you to be scammed? Let's get started. I wanted to start from here.
Here in my garage, just bought this new Lamborghini here. It's fun to drive up here in the Hollywood Hills. But you know what I like a lot more than materialistic things? Knowledge. In fact, I'm a lot more proud of these 7 new bookshelves that I had to get installed to hold 2,000.
Now this ad ran in 2015, roughly about 70 to 100 million views, and it wasn't just about an ad. It was the prototype, the template the entire industry will soon use to run on. And Russell Brunson turned this into a coded system. He in fact wrote the book, built something called ClickFunnels around it. And here's what this funnel actually looks like. You know these typical scams? You will recognize them really quickly the moment I tell you about it. They usually start with a free video for which they identify a problem that you relate to. They will send you an email with a webinar link, and then they will try to upsell you a $1,000 course. If they see that you are paying enough, they will move further, bigger amounts, $2,000 course or $5,000 course. In fact, top level end up paying $25,000 a year to certain mastermind or gurus. So at every level, someone is there to profit, and it is not the person at the bottom, which is you. And funny enough, MIT did a research. They discovered that only 25% of buyers who buy these courses ever log in to watch the first video. So what happens when tens of thousands of people buy these scammy courses? The guru will end up making $20 million, and the people or the students, these 10,000 people, they will end up at a loss because they will end up competing in the same market with similar strategies, which will drive up their marketing budgets and their margins will collapse. The more students who enroll, the less likely any of these strategies will ever succeed. But the guru's revenue, well, they scale as the enrollment goes up, and they are not bound by your outcomes. The system doesn't need you to succeed. It simply needs people like us to try. Your failure becomes the next student's motivation to buy such courses. But here's what I still couldn't figure out. Anyone, absolutely anyone spending time online can figure out those strategies. They can find out the failure rates for those strategies. So why do educated people keep on buying such courses which eventually are scams? Before we continue to the next part of the story, it would mean the world to us if you consider supporting this small channel. You just simply have to like, subscribe, and share this video with anyone that you feel this content is relevant. And share your thoughts in the comment down below. I intend to reply to all of your comments. Back to the story. Let me tell you, if you buy those $2,000 courses or a $20 ChatGPT subscription, you would more likely to get more value from that $20 subscription. So what are people actually trying to achieve by paying those $2,000 to these gurus? And the answer lies in few of the people that you know. Let's start with Andrew Tate's platform that charges roughly $50 a month to 150,000 subscribers. In 2025, that means it's roughly $90 million of revenues. And the reviewers of those programs say that this content is literally available for free. They are not paying for information. They are paying to become someone. And Tate doesn't sell a curriculum. He sells an identity, a decisive, wealthy, and an uncompromising identity. And this is not just Tate. When you buy a $2,000 course, you are making a declaration that you are serious, you are here to invest in yourself, and you are not the person who just watches free videos. The course isn't competing with the book, it is competing with your self-image, your ego, that you are now investing into yourself. And when an analytical person thinks they have found a secret system, the brain releases dopamine. If you think about it, it is a similar pathway as gambling. You feel smart before skepticism ever takes over. The more successful you have been at being right, the more your brain assumes that skill travels everywhere. Billie Joe Mullet, she withdrew close to $18,000 from her pension fund to complete the courses, get satisfied, and still couldn't get clients. The solution? Well, the same company offered her more coaching for $2,000, $5,000, $10,000. We all think it will never happen to us. That confidence is exactly what this machine is designed to produce. So, when a smart person gets scammed, they don't just lose money. They lose their identity as smart person. And the brain starts overcompensating. It starts building stories to protect itself and starts screaming things like that those lessons were worth it. If I go and pay the next program, I will finally be able to do the things that was promised to me. And do you know why they say that? Because the smarter you are, the harder it is for you to walk away. The harder it is for you to accept that you have been scammed. So this is it. This is why smart people keep on paying these scammy courses. Now, I think I have understood this part, but then this got me thinking. Did anyone build this knowing the success rate of these scammy programs? So I wanted to show you some documents because they say more than I can. In September of 2025, civil lawsuit against Ty Lopez, the man from the garage. He had around 660 investors and $230 million raised, with $112 million allegedly fraudulent. Now, these new investors' money allegedly used to pay the earlier ones, so it was kind of a loop. The day after the lawsuit, Lopez posted something bizarre. He said, "Never boom, no matter how horrible the situation is, don't ever think you are doomed." The machine he built required failure to keep running. The lawsuit didn't change that. The template just became stronger and it kept on going further. Similar pattern with Andrew Tate, $90 million earning from different subscriptions. And he has multiple legal investigations and criminal charges filed in May of 2025. The platform kept running and 150,000 paying customers kept on paying. Tate could disappear tomorrow and someone still will end up replacing him by Tuesday, because this template will work with a different face also. This investigation is not about these bad people. This is about the machine that doesn't need those people. So how are these gurus, these companies, these scam artists are reaching you? There has to be a platform, a mediator, for them to understand your preferences, your understanding of what you invest your time in, and then target you. Let me show you how it is done. In November of 2025, Reuters obtained an internal Meta documents, and they claim to have $16 billion of Meta revenues in 2024 just coming from ads that were promoting suspected scams. Now, let me give you some context. For Meta to classify an ad into a scam, it has to be sure, more than 95%, that this is a scam. However, if it suspects to be a scam, it will not really pull it down. If anything, it will increase the cost of that scam. So if you think about it, they are making more money to promote these scams. The US Virgin Islands sued Meta in December 2025, and the complaint says that Meta privately acknowledged the responsibility for a third of all successful scams in the United States. Think about it. The algorithm doesn't know it's a scam. It knows it is working. And in this system, working and scamming are literally the same thing. But everything I'd found still assumed a human in the chain. What happens when you remove the human altogether? What kind of scam would that look like? I want to come back to the same clip that we saw in the intro because it means something different now. When it went viral, it felt like a protection because now you thought you have a trick to beat an AI system or a deep fake system against a scam. Ben Coleman at Reality Defender says that the finger test was already obsolete. Deepfake models have perfected that bug, and every time a detection trick goes viral, it becomes a public specification for hackers and other companies to work on. The clip didn't protect anyone. It taught the next version on how to improve and how to improve the system so efficiently better that it can scam you. Now, let me give you an example. Annie, 53. She's an interior decorator in France, and she fell in love with who she believed was Brad Pitt. She saw AI photos, voice messages, video calls of him, and every frame was synthetic. She in fact sent him 830,000 euros because she believed into it. She saw his face, heard his voice, watched his lips move, and none of that exists in reality. What's being built now isn't just a fake face, it is a system that has read your LinkedIn, your comment history, the frustrations that you have posted 6 months ago. Today's systems are so advanced that it can literally build on your one-on-one conversation, calibrate it to the exact moment where you felt you needed to be heard, and then presents you with a scam opportunity. Deloitte projects $40 billion in AI-enabled fraud by 2027. Now, the same funnel, the same psychology that requires your failure, the same model where the platform profits whether you succeed or not, now it will be done through AI agents. Personalized human conversation attacks that will feel genuine, and it will scam anybody who thinks he or she is smart enough. So let's go back to our nurse, Billie Joe Mullet. She was a registered nurse who spent $35,000 and then additional in therapy. Annie, the interior decorator, she thought that she saw a face that never truly existed and wasted $830,000. And the list goes on. The more you investigate, the more you will find similar scams happening globally. And it is now happening at a scale that is not even imaginable. What connected all of them wasn't ignorance. It was the moment something inside them said that this could be the way out. Everybody who buys these courses, these programs, feel that this is their way out to becoming big, making lots of money or earning that early vacation, or in fact having the life they always see people showing on Instagram. And this feeling is not stupidity. If anything, it is one of the most innate human desire. So here's the answer. What if the smarter you are and the easier you are to scam? The answer to this is yes. Not because intelligent people are naive, because the machine was built around something you cannot give up: your confidence, your trust, and your own judgment. And with the technology improving so fast, with all those deep fakes becoming so real and so better, the chances are, no matter how smart you are, at some point of time, you might end up being a victim to similar scams. And there is no patch, there is no trick that will fix it all. The blind spot gets larger with intelligence. I know that feeling. And I think I have spotted it. But that does not mean I'm immune. If anything, I'll make sure 2 times or 3 times before making any big payments.